made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. What if you have a different religion? What if you're an atheist? Does that mean that you're stuck and you can't get sober? Not at all. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sobriety and Silver. I woke up sober this morning, because you know it, I went to bed sober last night. Most important thing I can do every night, no matter what the day brings, is go to bed sober. Because unless something really weird happens during the night while I'm sleeping, guaranteed to wake up sober, I got a fresh start to the day. Step 3 of Narcotics Anonymous 12-step program and also Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step program is made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. That's a big statement right there. God as we understood Him. I want to break down step 3. I want to go over the principles with you and go over being agnostic or agnostic theism and just give an idea of what it means, God as we understood Him. So the first part of step 3, made a decision. That's a big part. That goes back to step 1. Lord, I can't remember step 1 now. I'm drawing a blank. Admitted that we were powerless over our addiction and that our lives had become unmanageable. So admitting and accepting, and then we make a decision. So made a decision to turn our will and our lives, all right, the will part, our will, my will personally, didn't get me very far. It didn't get me very far in life. My will, until I turned it over to the care of God. Now, my understanding of God is Jesus Christ and God. I'm 100% believer in our Lord Jesus Christ. But maybe you don't. Maybe you have a different religion. Maybe you don't believe in anything. That doesn't mean that this step doesn't apply to you. It's still a very important step, because when you turn your will and your life over to something more powerful than you, no matter what you think that is, I mean, that could be life itself, maybe just everyday life, doing the best you can to stay clean, to stay sober. Maybe that's your higher power. Maybe that's something you're striving for, and you're using that as God as you understanding. Maybe it's I don't know, nature. Maybe it's meditating. It can be a lot of different things. When this step mentions God as we understanding, it's what your God is, what you believe, what is your beliefs. Maybe you're agnostic. Now, agnosticism is a belief in a deity, but you're not sure exactly what their nature is, what that, you believe in something, but you're not sure exactly what the purpose of this higher being is that you believe in. That's agnosticism. And then theism, that combines the belief in a God or gods with a suspension of judgment on the truth of that belief. Now, that one I had to write down. I couldn't remember exactly what theism was, but agnostic theism is basically you believe in something. You know there's something out there that's more powerful, but you're not sure what it is, and you're not sure what its purpose is. But that doesn't mean that you cannot get clean and sober and that this step does not apply to you. This step absolutely does apply to anybody that's getting clean and sober. Let's go over the principles and I'll tell you what I mean. All right, the principles of step 3 is faith and trust, hope, willingness, surrender, and spiritual commitment. Now, the spiritual commitment, I'll go over that one again in a minute because I feel that that is an important one to go over. But faith and trust, those two go together. To have faith and trust that getting clean and getting sober is going to be better. You know, you have to have faith that once you get clean and once you get sober, that life is going to get better. I know I've actually heard people say, and I was kind of the same way when I first tried to get clean and sober. Once I got sober and I came back from rehab, I was bored to tears. I didn't know what to do with myself. But I didn't have faith and I didn't trust that things would get better the longer I stayed sober. And that's exactly what will happen. The longer you stay clean and sober and have a commitment and start living your life, everything will start getting better. The willingness, now the hope and the willingness, the hope, the only thing that I can hope for, and this is just my personal hope, my explanation of what this is for, is my hope is that I can help somebody else. I can help somebody somewhere get clean and get sober because I never thought that I would do it. Decades of alcohol and drug abuse. I never thought that I would be sitting here over 3 years sober, almost 3.5 years sober, making a YouTube video and really, really wanting to help somebody else. But the willingness, you got to be willing to not give up. If you want to get clean and sober, I'm not going to say you probably won't do it the first time because some people can do it. But it may take several times of trying, relapsing. But as long as you keep trying, eventually it will stick, man. It'll click, and then all this stuff starts gelling together, and life becomes life, and it's wonderful. To surrender goes right back to step 1, where you have to admit it. You have to tell yourself, look, I'm an alcoholic or I'm an addict. I need help. And when you come to that point to admit it, you accept the fact that you can't do it on your own. Most likely. Now, hey, there are some people out there that have been addicts for a long time and have quit. And more power to them. I think that's amazing. I wish we could all do that. Unfortunately, I was not one that was able to do that. It took me several tries, several failures, but eventually it stuck. Now, the spiritual commitment. Here we go again. I think that phrase or that principle right there kind of can make people say, well, I don't have a spiritual commitment. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in whatever. But having a spiritual commitment can be just show up daily. Show up every morning. That's why I say go to bed sober, wake up sober, because when I wake up sober in the morning, I'm showing up. I'm showing up ready to tackle another day sober. No matter what that day brings. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. Face it sober. So if you show up daily, show up with love and kindness and whatever your values are. If you hold certain values above others that are positive values, use those as a spiritual commitment. If you know, if you're lacking in whatever your spiritual value is or whatever you hold dear, if you're lacking in that area, work on that. I have a lot to work on when it comes to my spiritual commitment and my values, because I find myself sometimes still reverting back and thinking the way I did when I was in active alcoholism and active drug addiction. Even though I'm not using right now and hopefully never will again, I didn't today. I'm going to bed sober tonight and I'll wake up sober in the morning. But there's a lot of things, even after over 3.5 years, or over 3 years of sobriety, that I'm continually working on. So step 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him, has a broad range of meanings. So I would encourage you to write that step down and underline what you feel is important out of that step and make it your own. Make it whatever you understand it to be, as long as it's positive, as long as it's uplifting, and as long as it's something that can help you fight every single day to stay clean and stay sober. You guys, I appreciate everything that you guys are doing, all the comments, all the shares. I appreciate everybody that's hanging out to the end of the video, and I even appreciate the ones that ain't hanging out to the end of the video. But I want to wish everybody a wonderful, beautiful start to the week, Monday. Hopefully this week we'll be signing the lease to the house, and I can get my YouTube studio set up and start moving on with life. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful Monday, and I'll see you in the next video.